Welcome to Isis in the Bible, the Spring Gathering, Week 0, Moon Tricycle. The question today is, what follows a moon cycle? As nature reveals her rhythm through stars, soil, and spirit, what is the earth really doing when mood fades to dark? Do we plant only seeds in the soil, or also in time, breath, and intention? How do the constellations guide us, not just in the garden, but as the gardener? Thanks for coming today. So thanks, Will, for reminding me to take a closer look at the partial but unique solar eclipse. Let's watch how this crescent spins, the time when we're supposed to be still. More on that later. So this is from Time and Date, and this is what people are going to view. Check this out. So it's sped up by 1,000 times and then 10 times. Here we go. So notice that crescent, that white crescent, how it's spinning around. That's pretty cool, eh? So how, usually you think that the moon is going in front of the sun, right? So how can that make it spin like that? Well, it must be a little bit offset or something. Anyway, that spin is going to make us spin. So this is flipping. This flipping is like the Mandela effect. Although this crescent rotation happens on partial solar eclipse and what's happening in the sky matters. So at this lunar eclipse, we have Saturn, Father Time, aligned with, right there at the age of Aquarius cusp, aligned with Markab, your wings, attachment point. So there, of course, there's the moon in front of the sun. It has to be, because that's what's happening, right? It's a new moon, but this time it's so close with the sun, we get to see the blackout. Energetically, Mercury in retrograde aligns Neptune, high energy regarding our past life experiences. So if you witness things happening around you, it's guidance. So if anything high energy happens, you know it's a wave. If you have nothing left to cleanse, it's going to be invigorating, all right? Because that's what happens, right? The more and more we do our work, perfect. So this would be life flashing in front of your eyes, because Mercury is the scribe, is Dr. Emoto, memories in the waters. And of course, Mary is still at the cusp. And so is Uranus at the cusp, all right? So this crescent looks like this. So the people that are here on the map, so Eastern Canada, Eastern US, kind of like Washington area, right? And sitting between 66 and 70 degree west line. These people here will get to see the phenomena, all right? And that phenomena is this. So coming up off the horizon, people will see 2 points in the sky, not two suns, but they'll see 2 points happening up in the sky. 2 lights, one over here and one over there. What the heck is that, right? And then they'll see what they call the horns. And these horns are what you see on Mercury, right? See the horns? So they call that. So that's so the people are going to see, those people are going to witness this, and they're going to see the bull's horn right before the spinning like we showed you over here, right? For them people, they will see these two lines of certain people, because right at that point there, depending where you're at, you'll see both coming up and rising before it spins out of the way. So that's pretty cool. That's what's going to be happening. So in specific locations, particularly in parts of northeastern North America, observers will witness an unusual optical effect where the rising sun appears as two separate points of light resembling horns. This occurs because the sun will rise partially eclipsed, creating the illusion of devil's horns. So why do they call it devil? Remember, devil is lived backwards. If you write down devil, look at it backwards, it's lived. And Mercury is your Akashic records and memories of your past. Hence why lived is called devil. Because when you don't realize some people get weird stuff happening to them, but they don't realize it's their own past, your own lived. So they called that the devil because you don't know where that's coming from, but it's your own vibration coming to remind you there's something that needs to be resolved with love. And again, if you've already done your resolve, which many of us have, what happens? We get invigorated. It's awesome energies. Those new images that you're creating in the waters get amplified because they're with love. Such an event is relatively rare and offers a unique visual spectacle for early risers. What do the moon phases have to do with the plants? Well, the sun creates the sea suns, right? The seasons, the sea suns, the ebb and flow of the sun, the ebb and flow of manifest, aka magnetism. But we have to know that the moon is the pure potential that provides the energy and the cycle. The sun is lit up by the moon. It recharges it. For us here in Windsor, we're going up by like 20, 30 degrees on that day and then dropping back off again. So there's more proof that the moon lights up the sun. All right? Because the female is the potential and the sun is always there, right? It's always there. It doesn't go through a cycle. It's the manifest. It's us in manifest. Again, ever notice that the sun does not appear to change color and it's always burning bright? It doesn't go through a cycle, right? It does the seasons of the sun. So the lost wisdom of the almanac, more than weather, a mirror of the heavens. The farmer's almanac isn't just about frost dates and moon phases. It quietly honors something older, the stars. Every planting day, pruning tip, and harvest note is based on astrological timing. Before clocks and calendars, we had a zodiac wheel, our cosmic guide. My father-in-law, he used to work in Italy creating buggy whips out of this certain plant. The guy that ran this business only shared with him because it was a secret. You gotta cut them at the right time so they remain flexible as the buggy whip, right? I don't like that word anyway. So it's just to tap the horse, right? Just say, hey, I'm back here, you can't hear me. So anyway, they would snap if you didn't cut them at the right part of the moon. Exactly. From the 1896 Farmer's Almanac, you can see that they're following astrology, right? And all they say, it's about time to start the hotbed for tomato plants, early lettuce, radishes, cucumbers, beets, and peanuts. So they show it all here, but they don't really give you a date. And this is back then. I don't know if they do now. I haven't checked one recently, but I do know that they've still been off by 23 degrees. So that's why I didn't go looking for it. So the zodiac for planting seeds. The zodiac is a living clock in the sky. It comes from the Greek word zodiakos kyklos, circle of animals, anima, the circle of souls. It's a fixed star wheel divided into 12 constellations, each with unique energetic patterns. The sun, moon, and planets move through these signs, transmitting their influences like spokes on a wheel. The wheel is not superstitious. It's celestial memory used for timing, planting, healing, and guidance. The animals, for example, chickens and birds and squirrels, they know when and how to plant seeds. They're seed planters. When the chickens eat the seeds, they don't chew them. They encapsulate them in their feces, which is fertilizer that goes down with the seed, which will grow. And they know exactly where to go plant them. That's where they go poop. So, but know that the wind knows exactly what to do and where to plant them. Doesn't ever watch those little seeds that float through the air, like the dandelion? It changes its path and direction. It knows exactly where to be placed. That's the wind that does that. Just like when the feather lands in front of your path after you saved an insect or an animal, the wind knew exactly where to place that feather, so you know that your heart is light as a feather. So man, well, he needs some help from the soul vibrations of the moon and the zodiac, because we got to get back in tune with Mother Nature. Let her do her job, and we got to help. So why the ancients planted by the stars? Let me play this little movie here. You guys familiar with this, Evening Primrose? Where they just pop at night. Kind of like a moonflower, right? They're so beautiful. And each blossom lasts for about 12 hours. And new ones open every evening. We've had some of these. We got to replant some. Our friends have some that keep coming back. So they're an annual plant that just keep coming back all on their own. But it's just more knowing that these cycles of the moon and the nighttime, Mother Nature, it's so beautiful. So our ancestors watched the moon and the stars not to worship them, but to work with them, right? Seeds planted under certain signs grew faster, stronger, or more fruitful. Root crops, fruiting plants, herbs, all aligned with the zodiac signs and moon phases. It wasn't belief. It was observation repeated over generations. So each sign has a purpose. The 12 sign, 12 energies. Each zodiac sign brings a unique influence. One roots, one nurtures, one heals, one transforms. These energies aren't just traits, they're frequencies that affect plants, waters, and even our own bodies. Law of attraction brings you the wisdom if you tune into it and let Mother Nature and her soul guides show you. So I'm not going to go through this, but there's water signs, there's earth signs, there's air signs, there's fire signs, right? So this one here, I'll just go through this column. It supports rooting water signs, these signs. So when those moon phases are in these signs, it supports rooting, nourishment, and transplant success. This one for the earth signs grounds energy for roots, soil work, and structure. Air sign uplifts flowers, pollination, herbs, and mental clarity. And fire sign energizes fruiting crops and solar plants and vitality. So walking with the moon, returning to the rhythm, we're not introducing something new. We're remembering something ancient. The moon is a messenger. The zodiac is a guide. Remember, it's in the Bible. Orion lead forth the Mazzaroth through the ages. That means, hey, let the zodiac be your guide. Together they form the original calendar for body, soil, and soul. Soil and soul sure sound the same, don't they? Let's us walk again with the stars, not to predict life, but to live in harmony with it. So they show you that the new moon is for sowing leafy greens, fast growers like lettuce, spinach, and herbs. The waxing moon for planting fruiting seed plants, tomato, beans, and peppers. The full moon, plant root crops, harvest herbs, beets, onions, and potatoes, for example. The waning moon, plant perennials, bulbs, garlic trees, and asparagus. And the dark moon, no planting. The dark moon is when we see that little sliver of the moon right before a new moon, because when you look up at the sun, at sunrise, you'll see those horns coming up. That's when we're not supposed to be doing anything. So just before that full moon, you're supposed to do nothing. Go within. That's what the new moon is about. Go within on that waning moon portion. So the new moon is seed of intention. This is a new moon. So when it's with the sun, you don't see it anymore. They say it's behind the sun, in front of the sun, whatever. It's different. The way the energies work, it's not exactly what they say, but it goes dark. So this is the darkest point when the moon is aligned with the sun. The earth is restful. The waters are still, perfect for sowing seeds that will sprout up quickly. Focus on leafy greens and herbs, plants that grow above ground and don't take long to mature. This phase is also symbolic of setting intentions, not just planting seeds in the soil, but also in spirit. So what your images come to a reality. You're planting seeds with images. Okay, we got to reflect that. So anything happening in your life, envision the end game that's beautiful and loving. So at this new moon, with this eclipse, with all those energies that are going on in the stars, do those images. Create those loving images, because those are sowing the seeds of love. And remember, love is felt by every atom on Earth, because you're now painting that picture in the waters. So it's important to do that. So this is when we whisper to the soil, and it listens, the soul to the soil. So waxing moon, this is when it's growing, right? The moon's light is increasing, growth energy is rising. So every day when you look up, it gets larger and larger and larger. Ideal for fruiting plants and produce above grounds, tomatoes, peppers, and beans. The plant's vital force is moving upward. Use this window to support anything that grows toward the sky. This is a time for nurturing and building momentum, both in the garden and in life. This is the moon pulling life upward, encouraging fruit to form. The full moon is peak vitality. The moon is at its maximum light and influence. So the full moon over here, right? Sap is high. Plants are full of vitality. Sap is high. Remember, so surgeons won't operate on a full moon. Why? Because people will bleed. So there's more proof that that's there. And remember, they did a study in all the hospitals to see if nurses said yes or no that there's more activity during a full moon. They discounted it because only 40% of the nurses said yes. So 40% said yes, that they discounted it. Well, that means the other people weren't paying attention. Anyway, so it's also, the full moon is also ideal for harvesting herbs, since they're at their most potent and aromatic. The full moon lights the whole garden. This is the height of life force, the height of life force. So the waning moon, when it's shrinking, okay, so it's going through and now it's shrinking, getting darker and darker and darker. Energy is now pulling back down into the earth, perfect for perennials, bulbs, and trees, which need long-term grounding. Root systems established well now. Think long life, deep strength. Also a time for cutting back and pruning and preparing for rest. This is the moon drawing energy inward, supporting strong foundations. And then the sliver moon, this is the one that just before the exact full new moon, this sliver moon is saying no planting, don't do anything. This is a dark moon, a time of stillness and release. Instead, compost, rest, reflect, or do your spiritual renewal work. So on the 29th, it's best to just do your inner work and do those images of love, right? But beautiful, just rest. Think of love, because love is stillness. Be in love. Keep telling yourself all day long, I'm so loved. So this is when we give back to the soil, to the body, and to the spirit. Even nature exhales. The dark moon reminds us that nothing grows without rest. When we follow the moon, remember what it is to live in rhythm, not by the clock, but by the cosmos. We want to follow a watch and man's calendar. This is the lunar calendar that we have to follow once again, not the solar calendar. When you follow too close to the sun, you burn your wings. That's the story of Icarus, right? So practical tips for gardening by element. Water signs, best for transplanting water and leafy greens. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Earth signs, ideal for planting roots, enriching soil, and building structure. Air signs, excellent for growing flowers, herbs, and working with pollinators. And fire signs, great for sowing heat-loving fruits, but avoid transplanting during fire signs. So here's a calendar. We won't go through this. For end of April to beginning of June, you won't have to learn this, as it will be sharing later. So this is just our first go at, but use this logic from the stars. So people go around May 2-4 weekend over here, but everybody's different. So May 2-4, they go and they plant that weekend because they got time off. Well, no, but that time off is man set that time off. No, we should be going based on the lunar calendar when we give ourselves a time out, right? So if you want to plant, and if you're not, you know you're not going to have any more frost, the best time waxing Cancer is water. So the waxing phase, perfect, because it wants to grow, because it's growing waxing. Remember, the X means growth. Waxing moon, the X is in there, growth out, expand. So May 7th, 8th, you want to transplant. This is a transplanting calendar. Best for all transplanting. Full moon again, and then if not, you don't want to go, don't do May 24th because it's low phase energy. You want to do it wait till May 30th if you can't make it for the May 7th. So this is the type of thing we're going to be looking at again, so we understand when to plant, when to transplant. By the way, I agree, when you plant that seed, mark north on your thing. So when you put that plant back in the ground, it's already orientated with how everything is moving around in the sky. It knows where south and north is. By you moving it, now you're making the plant have to get more energy to shift itself around. Why do that? So mark the north, and then when you transplant, you put it in that, make sure that mark is facing north. So again, transplanting schedule. May 3rd to 4th, great for perennials and roots. May 7th to 8th, all transplants thrive here. May 14th to 15th, great for flowers, herbs, and pollinators. May 17th to 18th, good for fruiting plants. And May 30th to 31st, most ideal transplant day. I'm going to be going, this is for May, the May window. I did this for people that want to do this, the transplanting during the May 2-4 weekend. I'm going to be starting my seeds, by the way, the heirloom tomato and cannabis plants on March the 30th, the day after the new moon. It's the right time to start seeds for those type of plants. So now here's a spiritual significance chart, because planting seeds we do with images as well. So new moon, plant intentions, a time of stillness and potential, the void where new dreams are conceived, open to inspiration, and seed your desires gently. See, whatever you're going through right now, envision the outcome that's beautiful, and that everybody's asking each other for forgiveness. All debts are settled. We go on with life. The waxing moon, so it's growing. The moon's getting bigger, right? Take aligned action. Energy arises. Begin nurturing your intentions. Momentum builds. This is a time to trust the process and move forward. So when you're planting, you plant the images. So now during the waxing moon, go plant some seeds of love. Do some examples. Ask people for forgiveness. Be kind. Do random acts of kindness during the waxing moon, right? Full moon, celebrate and release. Illumination. What was hidden comes to light. Give gratitude, harvest insight. Let go of what no longer serves. The waning moon, reflect and refine. This is where you start thinking about, okay, how did I do? This is your self-judgment, right? With the crook and the flail. So return inward, analyze, adjust, and compost what needs transforming, prepare for deeper integration. And then, of course, the dark moon, which is happening on March 29th. So just before any new moon, rest, renew, receive. It's a sacred pause. And in Unity on Sunday, Mariette Jones talked about pausing. Do we take a pause? Do we take time to, and she did a breath exercise where, you do breathe in, hold, exhale. So that's the same thing as this, right? When we see that last sliver moon that's rising just before the sun, that's the new moon. That's when we got to pause. So embrace stillness. This is the great exhale, a time to listen, dream, and reconnect with Source. So just as the moon pulls the tides, she also guides the inner waters of our soul. Each phase carries a sacred invitation, not just for planting seeds in soil, but for growing intentions, releasing old cycles, and returning to balance with rhythms of nature. This chart offers a simple guide to walk with the moon, not just by date, but by spirit. So we're going to start looking at lunar calendars again, because remember the moon phases used to be on the calendar. But it should also show which zodiac sign it's in, because it gives you a little finer detail of what you should be working on. So it's time to work with Mother Nature and start sharing the lands, is it not? So I pulled this community photo that we did. And again, I'm showing in Essex County alone, this is 100 acres. This little white dot here is 100 acres. We have this plan where you can have 7 times 12, which is 84 homes. Where the middle one has the community center, it has school, whatever you need. But then each one of those, there's 4,500 100 acres in Essex County alone where everybody could fit in one house. One person per house if you wanted to. There's 4,500 100 acres. So that means there's 4,582 houses. There's 4,500 2 to 2.5 acres times 24 sections where you can grow whatever you want. We got way too much land to plant everything we want. I'm not even talking about this land that's around us. So we can live in an abundance all day long without needing anybody's support in just Essex County. But what about the wintertime? Well, we got everybody around the world that'll ship it to us. It's already in place. We're already setting up for this. So it's beautiful. Okay, last but not least, Rev Cat shared this song for today, and anybody can share songs when they know what the topic is. This is Scotty Mcreery, Seasons Change, and what a sea sun within a sea sun we're upon right now.
Time coming, it's a new beat gonna hit the ground running. Been a while since I felt this way, but it's a brand new me, yeah, it's a brand new day. Can't keep a man down when he's on the way up. Can't keep it in park when there's gas in the truck. Red light, yellow light, green light, go. Everybody knows seasons change. I'm turning a new leaf, rolling up my sleeves, sitting on G, waiting on O. Now the sun's out, baby, I'm ready to roll. Wintertime, springtime, summertime, fall. Good times, bad times, been through them all. Just when you think you can't make it through the rain, your seasons change. Oh, your seasons change. Yeah. When you just can't find the right piece to the puzzle, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Don't sweat it, don't fret it, put your boots on the ground. It'll come back around. Cause sometimes going through all the bad weather makes the sunshine that much better. Right here, right now is what it's all about. So breathe in, breathe out. Just breathe in, breathe out. The seasons change. Turning a new leaf, rolling up my sleeve, sitting on G, waiting on O. Now the sun's out, baby, I'm ready to roll. Wintertime, springtime, summertime, fall. Good times, bad times, been through them all. Just when you think you can't make it through the rain, the seasons change. Your seasons change. Can't keep a man down when he's on the way up. Can't keep it in park when there's gas in the truck. Red light, yellow light, green light, go. Everybody knows. Yeah, everybody knows. Seasons change. You're turning a new leaf, rolling up my sleeve. I'm sitting on G and waiting on O. Now the sun's out, baby, I'm ready to roll. Wintertime, springtime, summertime, fall. Good times, bad times, been through them all. Just when you think you can't make it through the rain, seasons change. Oh, I'm telling you, seasons change.
Can you feel the seasons change? That's all we have for today.